Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 16th game of between the two players, two legends, Bobby Fischer and Boris Spassky. This is game number 16. This is the World Championship 1972. Be sure to watch it. Please don't forget to like, give the thumbs up, and comment on this video. So let's actually see it again. Analyze. Here in this game, Bobby is playing with white pieces and Spassky with black pieces. Let's see the game now. E4, E5, knight F3, knight to C6. So bishop to B5, it's got Ruy Lopez opening, a Spanish opening. If bishop C4, Italian game, okay? But no, bishop C4, no Giacopiano. So bishop to B5. We have A6 from Spassky, usual move, but I was somewhat shocked at this point, which is Bobby took on C6. As you really know, it's good to go bishop to A4, knight to F6, then castle, bishop to E7 or bishop to C5, then rook to E1, B5, because now threat is just to take. And for example, if black just goes castle this way, then bishop takes C6, d takes on C6, then we have knight takes E5, winning a clean pawn, no danger for white. Okay, so that's why the move b5 is just to play, because it's just block and somehow prevent any pawn capture on e5. So we have b5, bishop to b3, just castles, then a4. Oh, okay, but b5, sorry, b4, then d4, and the game continues like this. Okay, but Fischer just took on c6. Strange decision. Maybe he was kind of, he wanted to somehow outplay Spassky, so, and consider taking on c6. Yeah, bishop takes c6, d takes on c6. You surely don't take with b pawn because you're just kind of and playing move this. Okay, if you take also this, I cannot take because at least you have this. For example, if you take queen to e7, if d4, c4 defending the knight, then here d6 comes. If you take, yeah, it's possible. D6, e4, if you just take queen takes e4, queen e2, then you can't take this because this is just pain. Okay, so after queen takes e2, king takes e2, bishop to b7, we just take our pawns back. If you, for example, go here, then I just grab. If you go here, just bishop takes on c6. After you take, I just play knight to e7, then knight takes the pawn on c6. For example, I just mention area knight e7, just taking the pawn, and this is just equal position for both sides. So bishop takes c6. That's why we have t chapters on c6. No, actually matter, doesn't matter. B takes c6 or d takes c6. C6 to actually winning or losing the game, but it's much better, much human to just take with d pawn, just to free our bishop. So bishop to g4 is also pin now. Okay, so we have just castle, f6 defend the pawn, bishop to g4 was also possible, or just queen to f6 defending this pawn. But we see f6. Somehow, I think that both of them are making each other confused. If you play this, then we just maybe have this or this, because the threat is this, guys. So you must be careful. Bishop to e6 is also possible. As I just mentioned, knight to e7 is also possible. Another good move is g6. For example, if you just play, let's see, if you just play here, then queen to h5 is just terrible. Now this is just coming, okay? For example, if here, not here check, then just taking grab the rook on h8. So that's why bishop to e6, and that's why knight to h4 is not good. We have d4, bishop to g4, no pinning the knight. We just take the pawn on e5, queen trades, then we just capture the pawn back. You can't take this because easy, your rook is just hanging on d1. So rook to d3, now the threat is just to take. We have bishop to d6. What is the purpose of bishop to d6? Yes, defending the pawn on e5, okay? We have knight to d2, knight to f6. Now here is a threat. We are just attacking with both our knights to the pawn on e5, okay? So you must somehow think about and defend it somehow. Spassky went for the knight takes on e4, but also the move castle was possible. If you take this, after here, okay, we have knight takes on e4 here. Okay, so I'm just taking my pawn back, and I'm also attacking your rook on d6, guys. So, but kind of better move as I just said this was, but knight takes e4 was just played now by Spassky. We have knight c takes on e5. A better move for Fischer also could be knight f takes on e5. Because now we're just threatening to take this, and move later maybe f3 is coming here, okay? So, for example, after bishop to e6, f3 or rook to e3 is good. I myself play f3, usual move. After f3, bishop takes on e5. You notice that knight to f6 is just a blunder because you're just losing your bishop and a pawn. After here, just take. I win a queen and pawn, no problem with that. Okay, so as you just told you, knight takes e5, knight c takes on e5 was played, bishop takes on f3, knight takes on f3, castle, bishop to e3, now the move b5, and c4. So the point of c4 is that maybe actually here, I mean, Boris Spassky wants to play c5, c4, and push on the queen side. So, or we just play c4 actually to somehow block it at 3 pair this pawn. In the case which Spassky takes the pawn on c4. So if he takes, then he gets the 3 pair pawn. 3 pair pawn. Okay, so that's why c4 was played. It's not bad move at all. We have rook to b8, rook to c1 takes, and so if you just take this, okay, we can actually take the pawn on b2. If you just take the knight, then you just get checkmated. No mate, but you just lose a piece, I assume. Yeah, after here, bishop c1 takes, and here. It's just winning for black. Not a piece, but you see that black position is much better. Now rook to b8, rook to b1, or rook to b2 is coming. We have active bishop on d6, which makes sense. So after rook to d4, we have rook to e8, defending the knight. We have just knight to d2, knight takes on d2. So just the guys taking the pawn is not very good because this rook is just infiltrating the white's position. Now we just threaten to also take. We have active knight, and look at your pieces, they are so passive here. That's why knight to d2 was just great. So, and now this knight is kind of irritating us, is annoying us. So we just have to eliminate this knight. So that's why knight to d2 was played. After you take, I just take back with rook, and now I just can take your pawn on c4 with my rook on c1, okay? So that's actually what happened in the game. Knight takes, rook takes on d2. We have rook to actually e4 defending this pawn, but it's kind of Rusy pawn. It's just triple pawns we have on the c5. After bishop to e5, we have rook to c2, rook c to c2, defending the pawn twice by the roots. We have king to f7, king to g2. Now the threat is just king to f3. So one of the purpose of the move g3 was the king maneuver, king g2, king to f3, actually to get, if it is white, then even it's just completely winning position for white, because this rook we just get trapped here. So he has to move away. That's why bishop takes on b2 was played. You're not actually doing this because of c3, okay? c3 just takes back the rook. You're not losing the rook, okay? Rook takes b2 is not sacrifice. It's sacrifice, but you can just immediately take it back with the move c3. You have king to f3, c3 anyway takes the rook. Then we just take back the pawn on d2 with our rook. Rook to c2, bishop to d6, rook takes on c6, rook to a5, bishop to f4, check on a4 with the rook, king to f3. We have rook to a3, check again, and again king e4 takes the pawn on a2, bishop takes on d6, c takes on d6, we just take back, rook takes on f2, rook takes h6, rook takes h2, then this is just a simple draw. And in this moment, they agreed draw by agreement. Notice that Spassky is up a pawn, so you cannot take that rook. If you're down a pawn in the endgame, never trade the rooks, okay? So if you trade the rooks, then you're just simply losing this. Let's see how. Rook takes on d7, king takes on d7, king to f4. For example, after this sequence of moves, the move g6 is just essential to just prevent any king to h5. And we just take back two connected pawns completely over. The game is over. So that's why you should just notice that if your pawn done, you should never ever trade the roots. Keep the roots on the position, because the root end games are usually draw. Okay? As I just said, at this moment, rook a to change e6, but it's kind of draw. The game continues, but it's draw. Let's say this. Okay. Just draw now. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, give the thumbs up, comment on this video. If you enjoyed this, please also sub to the channel. See you next time. Goodbye.